Hey y'all, welcome back to Knitting in Our Jeans. I'm Liz.
I'm Carolyn.
And you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Tooliz for you, TOOLIZZFORYOU.
And I'm CPREDMOR on Ravelry, and when I'm posting as Knitting in Our Jeans on Instagram. And I post on almost nothing. And in fact, you need to take my picture in my MoMA sweater so we can post that.
Okay.
Since I finished that last time. And we can show that we did it because the woman who helped me with the pattern said she was following us on Instagram. So, I'm not good at taking pictures of myself. It's not a skill I have honed.
It's not?
No. So, something's wrong with the whole. I can't do it well. I can lay things on the floor. I'm really good at laying things on the floor.
You are pretty good. You are pretty good at a flat lay, yes.
Yes, but not on me. So we should take a picture of that sweater. We should take a picture of this sweater and post them on Instagram. Or we can take a picture and I can post them on Instagram separately. So anyway, I have a finished object.
You do have a finished object.
This is the sweater that I started on Christmas morning because I had the revelation that I was not going to be using the shawl that was the West Knits mystery knit along this year. I had all the yarn. I just wasn't feeling it, and I'm not a shawl girl. It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
So
it's beautiful. It just wasn't something you were going to wear.
And it was going to take a lot of time for something I wasn't going to wear. That basically is it. So instead, I immediately went into my pattern collection. I have to say it was on Ravelry. And I found a sweater that used multiple colors. So I actually used all three colors that I had pulled out for the West Knits shawl, and I used them in the sweater. The sweater is the Breathing Space by Veera Valimaki. And it's been blocked, and I really like it. So there's the yellow that's at the yoke, and then I have a multicolor or variegated that is this lower part that up here, then if it was 2 rows of the variegated and then 2 rows of a gray, 2 rows variegated, 2 rows of gray, and then when it got down to here, they said switch to your main color and do inches of stockinette stitch so that this right side is 15 inches. That's the short side. Well, at that point, I decided that my gray could be used for other projects, whereas the multicolor is not as adaptable to other projects. So I nominated my multicolor as the main color and used that. And I had done my lower cuffs and my yoke in the yellow, and I then did a hem. I have a 1-inch hem. They had suggested a 1.5-inch hem. I ran out of the yellow, so I used up all of the yellow, and I am quite pleased. Blocking did its thing. The yarn eased and relaxed into itself, so it's not as lumpy and bumpy anywhere near it as it was last week.
Good.
And it's very comfortable, and I love it. I really do. So it's now off the blocking boards, and I honestly, the only part I pinned was the hem, because I've had problems in the past where if the hem is not 1.5 inches, 2 inches or longer, it will perhaps flip up during the drying process, and then I have a problem. So I pinned the hem so it would lay flat, but the rest of it, I just laid out flat and let it dry for 2-3 days, and it was fine. So it went very well. I'm quite pleased. Very pleased.
Good.
Yes. Now what?
So I haven't finished any knitting, but I have finished some sewing.
I think you should tell us.
I will. Give me a second.
Yeah, she has the cough. She follows her grandfather in keeping a cough until people finally say, enough already. Give up the cough. Obviously, it's not a voluntary thing. But in my family, once we get a cough, we hold on to it like it's gold.
Like it's a dear, dear friend.
Yes. Yes. It's very difficult for us to get rid of coughs.
And I thought that I had figured out, like, I thought I was doing really well. I thought I wasn't going
in that
direction.
Oh,
and
wow.
then last night happened.
Yes.
Last night I kept myself up coughing, and I was like, this is not good. So.
But no fever.
No fever.
Okay. Because as soon as you get a fever with something like this, it's off.
Yeah. Sinus infection.
Well, sinus infection, pneumonia, that kind of thing.
Not that I've noticed, at least.
Well, that's good. All right.
So I made a laptop sleeve. It is based on the Dakota tablet clutch by Swoon Patterns, and I upsized it so that it fits my MacBook, or my MacBook Air, and I added some foam to it to just give it a little bit extra protection. But yeah, I'm really pleased with it. We had a bit of an oopsie earlier with it, but I don't think you can tell. So no. I'm very excited. It looks really nice. Instead of using the fabric to make a strap, I used some of the webbing that I have in my stash.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. And I reinforced it. I X-stitched it twice. And then I reinforced just the leading edge of it. I'll get all the strings later. Thank you. I reinforced the leading edge a few times as well. But yeah, I'm really pleased with it. It came out really well.
It matches your purse.
It does match my purse. And when I make a new purse, it will match that one too.
So, you have enough for two?
I have enough for another purse, yeah.
Very nice.
So, which will be nice because mine is currently falling apart.
That's what you told me.
Yeah. So I need to finish figuring out the logistics of my new bag and then actually make it, because I will be modifying another pattern. Not a Swoon pattern. I think it'll be a blue Calla pattern. But yeah, when that happens, you all will know.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, so that's what I've finished this week.
Okay. Just finished. I got one more stitch here. All right, so after I finished this breathing space, I went back to my Woolf. And I had, of course, already showed you all the pieces I'd made. So the sleeves are in the bag, but I didn't want to be working with the sleeves in my lap. But I did attach the collar, and the collar is curling. So it has to be blocked, and if it doesn't behave well after block, it's going to be hit with a steam iron. To make it lay, in fact, I think I may use a tailor's hand to make it lay in the round over top. But the sleeves are done. They were knitted flat. They need to be seamed, and then, of course, put into the sweater. Now, I am working with one ball of lace yarn with various balls from advent calendars. So held double, and I'm coming to the end of my lace ball. So when I hit that, that's going to be the end of the held double, and I will go into a hem. You all know that I had gone through my advent calendars to kind of get a gradient pattern with the second yarn held with the lace yarn. And I'm pretty pleased with that. So what I'll do is there in one of the advent calendars that I used, it had the regular 100 grams. And I have wound that into a ball, and I will use that for the hem, and probably a button band. Whether I do a knit one, purl one up as a button band, or whether I crochet it up
and
the side.
You don't intend on doing like buttons. It's just a stabilization feature.
Exactly. So I'm going for length and to finish the lace ball, and who knows, I might be able to finish this week. So that would be lovely. I'm really pleased at the color. Now I have a problem with, I just noticed this. Some of these balls of yarn
are splitty.
And or coming apart, but the lace will hold it together. So I'll shave it and
or poke them to the inside.
Poke them to the inside. But anyway, so some of the advent calendar yarn is not as good. It's not behaving as well as others. But because it's held double with the lace, I won't be losing those stitches. So it's not a panic situation. But I have a case right there where one of the yarns has lost its mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll poke to the other side or shave it or do something. Yeah, there's another one. So yeah, some of the advent calendar yarn that I have is, I think it's ends, which would make sense, and it's not behaving as well. I have to say that I went through, we're going to Vogue Knitting Live, and I was going through some of my worsted yarn to figure out what I wanted to bring for one of our classes. And I found the sister yarn to the blue yarn that I had made that dress out of, and I threw it out.
Nice. I'm very proud of you.
Because it wasn't that it was splitty, it was that it kept fluffing. And it would fluff constantly. And I had to take the dress apart because the dress was just impossible. Everywhere I went, it was leaving blue fluff all over the place. And it never really calmed down, even after blocking. It was just terrible. So I didn't even try working with the sister purple yarn or mauve yarn. I just threw it out. So I'm very proud of myself, too, because I don't often do that.
No.
I find it very difficult to throw out yarn. In fact, we'll talk about one of the things I want to talk about later is the yarn I've picked out for Vogue Knitting Live, and the yarn I picked is yarn I have no idea where I got it from. So I'm hoping it behaves well. I don't know, but since I knew the pedigree of the yarn I threw out, the brother yarn wasn't good. There was no point in spending that much time with a sweater or a dress and then to just
leave fluffs everywhere.
To just have to throw it out because it was just exhaling fluff all over. So anyway, that was my week. I was very proud of myself. I threw out yarn. And it wasn't even worth donating because there's no way that anybody would find that good to work with.
Some people do.
I'm sorry. If you like fluff, I apologize, but it's gone.
Good.
Anyway, what are you working on?
I am working on the Chibi Mayu, which is a nori, a pattern by Nori-chan on Instagram. Her name is... Well, it would be good if I typed it correctly.
That helps.
Yeah.
I find that helps a lot.
Is Noriko. Can't remember her last name right now. But it was released on Tuesday. It's a kid's sweater. It's a kid's version of a chunky pullover that she has for adults called Mayu. This one is going to be for a friend of mine, her little, because they just moved back to Colorado.
From Florida.
So they need warm knits. So as I've previously said, I'm making it out of Barocco Ultra Wool, and I'm trying to get to the end of my magic loop so that I can show it to you all.
It's really
I think
pretty.
I've got about another inch to go on the body. I'm knitting the 4 to 6 year size.
Okay. How old's the child?
The child is 4.
Okay.
But she's tall, so.
Well, the thing about children, they'll grow into something.
Yeah. So.
How pretty.
Yeah. The cable is really nice. It's really simple. I haven't memorized it yet, and I've been working on it for a little while now. But c'est la vie.
Are the V's good? Are they going down the sleeves?
No.
No. Okay.
No, it's just down the front.
Very nice.
Yeah. So, it was going to be for some little in the family or friend's family. But yeah, so I really love this. It's a really well-written pattern. I was test knitting it, and it's now released, and it's really lovely. So if you're looking for a little kid sweater with a cable, check out Chibi, Mayu. There'll be a link down below. But that's what I've been working on. Do you have other things you've been working on? Because I have another thing I've worked on.
No, I decided that I work best when I focus on one project. As much as I would like to have a little variety in my life, the mess at the bottom of the sofa is because I had a little variety in my life. So I do have a focus on trying to get some of these whips done so I can move on to something new.
Okay.
So I've been knitting like a fiend and trying to get this done so I can push this out of my life. And I think the rest of my advent calendars will go into socks or something. And maybe, you know, the multicolor socks, because I like this multicolor, but well, you could do something like this. You could have a gray and then you could have the same kind of 2-row stripe. So I could do that. I could do a bunch of things like this that have a main color and then the rest of them. But yeah, I need to do something to work through all of those advent calendars, because otherwise you end up with just a lot of little wool. And for me, it's frustrating. Yeah. Okay.
So I've got my Cozy Knitter sock number 2. I turned the heel this week on the subway, and I am now going up the back of the heel. So these should be done soon, hopefully. And then I will move on to another pair probably, because it's good subway knitting. But yeah, those are the 2 active projects currently.
Okay. Oh, the other thing I did this week was I made homework. I did the square for the homework. You did the homework
for Vogue Knitting Live. Look at you. I have not.
I did. Now, have you bought anything this week?
No, but I have other plans.
Okay.
I've not worked on them, but I technically worked on one of them. I will show you.
So this is the yarn. It's called Galler's Olympic Supra, made in Switzerland. And I have umpty-ump of these. I have at least 10, if not 16 of these. It's 100% virgin wool, so it's not bend-friendly. It's decatted, non-pilling superwash. So good superwash for me. So that's good. And then we're taking an embroidery class. All right, so this says the embroidery thing is in here. And I have made the square.
Very nice. So
I have made the grid that
was requested.
Yes, I think I made a mistake right there. Obviously.
In this row?
Yep. But I'm not worried about it.
Good.
You know, it is what it is.
I
obviously was off a row.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened. I'm off a row. So some yarn overs didn't get done.
Oh, well.
Oh, well. So what I need to put in this bag is then the colors that they want.
That they've requested.
Yes, so...
I bet you have some minis.
I'm sure I have some minis. So I will leave this out so I can put those in. And then I have the yarn for the antique sweater.
Vintage.
And so this is my Vogue Knitting classes bag.
Homework bag.
My homework bag, yes. I was afraid I was going to have to step out of the vintage sweater class to take a call from Social Security. But my husband, my lovely husband, got on the internet and found a way for me to change my designation from spousal benefits to my own. So I have
applied online,
and I checked today at lunch, and it said that they received it, and there was someone looking it over, and I should have a response in 2 to 4 weeks. Yay! So I don't foresee a problem since they've already vetted my birth date and my work years and all of that kind of stuff. So I think it's probably an easy thing, but we'll let you know.
We'll find out.
But yeah, getting a raise is always exciting.
So I have also been looking at other things.
Mm-hmm.
So, a friend of mine came over to my apartment a few months ago now and just delivered this bag of yarn to me. It's a bag of yarn with a partially started project.
I don't have people that just show up at my house with bags of yarn except for you.
This is partially started project.
Ah.
So, what you don't see is that I've already frogged part of it. I have taken the gauge. I have met gauge of the existing project. And I will continue knitting on it. At least through the color work, which is the part that gave her trouble. And then I will maybe give it back. Maybe I will finish it. We will see. You will come on this journey with me.
She just got frustrated.
She got very frustrated with the color work. So this is going to be a Sandoval, which is by, let me see if I can find it. No, of course I can't. I have it. It's a Sandoval. It was popular a few years ago, maybe last year, maybe 2 years ago. Let's see, where is it? Is it raining?
It's supposed to be raining on and off all evening. Yes.
So it's the Sandoval by Annie Haas.
Oh my. It's a lot of color work.
Yeah. So that'll be really nice.
There you go.
It's gonna be in this olive green and then a cream.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, that'll be lovely. And then, so this is something I want to start working on more often. I want to, try and get this back to her, so that I can get it out of my house because it's not something I'm going to use.
Right.
And I know she would like it. But I wound up some yarn this week. Okay. For a birthday cast on.
Ah, okay.
So I wound up, and I'm not going to take it out, but I will show you, the big silks. I wound up 2 of them. 2 of the 3. The third one's over here. 2 of the 3 I wound up. And this is going to be a Nurtured by Andrea Mowry. So I need to swatch for it. So that is what I will probably start maybe tomorrow.
Okay.
And then work on that. That's with, I think it's Rhinebeck 2020 yarn and then Rhinebeck 2021 yarn from Miss Babs in Big Silk.
Okay.
I did take a page out of my needle binder and I put it in here so that I have the needles to swatch. It's the heavy metals because they're pretty.
Yes, they're purple.
So I decided those were going to be what I knit it on. But yeah, so I did start that. I want to swatch that and then cast it on for my birthday this coming week. So that's, I think, the last of the projects.
Okay.
But I know we haven't gone over the advent calendars yet.
How about if I go get my striped dress and talk about the yarn I bought, and then we can do advent calendars?
Yeah.
So I have a striped dress, number 22, that I made years ago out of Valimaki.
Oh, so Shellie Zaberball, and it's in a Vogue knitting pattern, or Vogue knitting magazine, and she's going to go get it right now because she forgot to get it earlier. The one she has, I think, is gray and black and white.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It took 5 balls of the Zaberball. So this is the back.
Yep. And then the front is really interesting because it's got this circular square, circular knit square detail.
And it's got pockets. It's a very bizarre construction. The front really does make you scratch your head.
Kind of like the center point popover did.
Yes. And I love it. I'm popping it on every morning over my stretchy pants and my top to go outside and get the newspaper, and it's what I wear around the house before I get up and take my shower and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, what I need is one for hot weather and for on the boat. So, because our living room on the boat, we don't have curtains for the back door. And I really don't see how you would get curtains for the back door. I think you'd have to get curtains for the whole back end of the boat, and we don't have those yet. And I haven't focused on them since they put a hole in the boat, which I think we talked about before. Anyway,
so pretty.
I bought Lang Yarn's Linello, and it is 40% linen, 30%, 32% cotton, and 28% viscose. And I have 2,000 yards of this, which is what the sweater, the dress pattern calls for. And this stripes.
Is it the same weight?
Cheryl thought it would be fine.
Okay.
Since it's linen and cotton, it's going to stretch. It's going to hang. So, whereas I put my striped dress in the washer and the dryer because it was washable wool, it shrank up an inch, which is fine. I will probably end up pulling it down an inch. Not a big deal. This will probably stretch. So, whereas my striped dress is 2 to 3 inches above my knee, this one will probably be at my knee. So, not a problem. In fact, when I knit it, I just have to remember to knit it a little bit shorter so it to take into account that it will hang.
And then you might want to put crocheted foundation in it.
That's a really good idea. Every so
Inside of
often
it.
to keep it a certain length. You can either do that or you could get twill ribbon. And
I mean, it's essentially the same concept,
tack that inside. So I have 7 of these. All the same color, all of the same dye lot.
Nice.
Cheryl was so funny. She goes, I'm not sure I have enough of that. I said, oh, yes, you do. I've been, you obviously didn't miss me. I was over here, sourcing what I needed. So I have this. And yes, I know I've got several things that I bought from Cheryl in either her sale bin or something, but I had asked her about this. I had emailed her about this about 4 weeks ago, and she said she had something, and this is just perfect, and it's the colors I like, so I'm quite pleased, and I will not be starting that until sometime after March, because I do have the cotton sugar maple, and so once I finish the Woolf, I figure I'll work on the cotton sugar maple, get that done, because I can wear it all this summer. And then I'll see where I am in the calendar. If I'm still in February, then I may go back to one of the other wools and get another wool sweater done and out, and then go to my striped dress. So that's the plan at the moment. We'll see.
So Advents.
So the other thing is we signed up for our knit retreat.
Yes. So the Knit Long Island is having a retreat again in April. We did not go to the one last year because I was in Seattle at a wedding, and but this year we are going to be there. We'll be taking classes both days, and yeah, so that should be good.
Oh, and there's a 10% discount if you sign up before February 1st. So we signed up today because we didn't want to lose that discount. Knit Night was this past Thursday, and there was a lot of talk about it during the knitting night. And I certainly didn't want to lose the discount. There's no reason to do that since we had decided that we were going to go anyway, so why put it off? I mean, one or two of the other women there said, oh, well, I plan to go, yada, yada. I'll get around to doing it. And I'm going, that's an excellent recipe for disaster. So we signed up today, so we'll definitely be there. And
for early bird people, if you haven't figured that out in terms of buying tickets, I mean, we bought the VKL tickets early bird. We bought these early bird.
And VKL has not sold out.
No.
I'm not quite sure why, but they have not yet sold out. Now, whether they don't have as many people in the marketplace, I don't know. But that was also talk on Knit Night, how the Broadway package still hadn't sold out. People were still getting emails We have our Broadway package. We have the hotel. We've checked on the hotel. We have the hotel. So we're good. We're going to have classes Thursday afternoon, Friday morning, Saturday afternoon, and then I'll probably go to your apartment. By that time we'll have decided whether we want to go back on Sunday. If we want to go back on Sunday, then we'll go back to her apartment. If we decide we don't need to go back on Sunday, then at the Saturday night we'll split up and each sleep in our own beds. Meanwhile, I love staying at the Marriott, so that's not a problem. And I think that we'll arrange to have our egg whites sent up to us because there's quite a wait for meals down in the dining room areas. And while there is a premium put on delivered meals, they are excellent at delivering them at the time you have requested. And it means that's one less
scheduling headache.
Well, I was thinking of overload of information. I'm dyslexic, so too much information feels like I'm being hit with a fire hose. So if I'm focusing on trying to get to the classes on time, if I'm making sure I have all my stuff with me, then getting down to breakfast and this it's an anxiety thing because I feel like my motor's running. So having breakfast delivered means that the coffee will be there, the tea will be there, and what we can eat will be there, and we can then mosey down to the classes, which is nice. And that's another reason why we stay in the Marriott is that we tried staying at a Residence Inn nearby. I'm a Marriott girl. And while the room was lovely, it was 2 blocks, 2.5 blocks, maybe 3. 2 blocks up and 1 block over. So it was a long block over. And those people, and I mean those costumed people by those people in Times Square area, I find frightening at night.
That was also right before you had your second cataract done?
Whatever. I find them frightening.
Yeah.
They will come up and accost you. And I just don't need that. I've got gray hair.
Mom's not as good at putting on the face and just walking as I am, but I think also comes with the fact that I work in and around those things.
I worked in Manhattan for years,
yeah.
But it's that I walk with a limp. I've got a gray hair. I think they find me a lot more approachable.
Well, yeah. Most people do.
Yeah, and so I find that for me, the sense of safety and security.
Is
worth the premium. And as we were walking with bags of yarn, so we were walking with our purchases back to the hotel. And that also felt like I had painted a target on my back. So we stay in the Marriott. It is more expensive, although honestly not by a lot. Well, maybe some. But I have an increased sense of security. That all we have to do is get up and down in the elevators. We can drop our stuff off in the room. We can use our room as a central unloading and loading.
Yes, we could stay at my apartment, but there is still then that commute situation. And there's the safety factor also of even if we were to drive in and out or even take the subway in and out, there have been years where it's been very cold and it's been icy.
Yes.
And so
where people came in and they had broken
wrists.
They've injured their leg. One person told me they'd broken their leg on the ice on that Sunday morning. So it isn't, for me, it's a safety factor, whether it's a feeling of security. It's knowing that I'm probably going to buy something. I don't need to be walking through, Manhattan with my purchases, limping along. I don't limp anymore. But it just, I don't feel as safe.
Yeah. Which is valid.
It is what it is. So, anyway, we're staying at the Marriott. Well, we're staying Thursday night and Friday night, and then we'll decide what we want to do on Sunday. But I have a feeling we'll probably not go back.
I might meet up with some friends, but
we'll have a full day to investigate the marketplace.
I might meet up with some friends, but that's about it.
Well,
we have dinner on Thursday, confirmed, by the way.
Oh, good.
So
excellent.
And then, yeah, I mean, we might, yeah.
So we check into our room.
Yeah.
We
I have
go to our class.
Yeah.
We order breakfast.
I've gotta talk to you or offline, because I have to figure out, I have a meeting, I think, at church, earlier in that day, on Thursday, so I might, take the train out and back, once we check in.
Huh.
Or you go in, you check in, and I
meet you. We don't check in till 2:00.
So maybe I just go in, I meet you in there, but then all of the stuff is in the car and we have to pick it up from the car.
We'll figure this
out. So,
I mean, it's a 2:00 class.
Okay, so we'll figure it out.
Right.
I have Advents that you have not seen all of. So, we know I got the Cozy Knitter skein.
And we got our Katrinkles.
And we got the Katrinkles, which I did not bring because you showed that off. I'm pretty sure I showed you all the Freckled Whimsy skein. And then, I don't know if I showed you all, but I also got the Woolens and Nosh set. Have not knit on it yet. I kind of don't want to spoil myself, but little sneak peek. I don't know that you can really see what's in there.
No.
So, I think this is a really cute kit. I think it's a really, really clever packaging.
Knitting.
Yeah.
Well, you can come pick me up Thursday, then go to your meeting, and then we can go in.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. We would just have to leave. Yeah, we'll talk. We'll figure it out. So then I have 2 big Advents. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'll just show you a little smattering, if for nothing else, because I am coughing. So I got the Canon Hand Dyes Succulents set on Bugga.
Does that mean it's cactus?
Yes, it's like cactus colors. So it's like greens and browns, and it's really pretty. So we've got, so this is day 4. It's really pretty icy bluey green.
Nice neutral.
Let's see. Let's pick day 11. A little bit darker. Doesn't look that much darker really on screen, but it is in person darker.
It is by about a whole cube.
17, I think, is a pinky. Yeah, it's a pinky, yellowy, browny tan.
Yeah.
And then 23. 23 is a light purple. And then I have a skein of the contrast color, which is this brown, which is really pretty. And I think, since it's on sport, what I'm going to do is I'm going to knit the Rose Cardigan by Andrea Mowry, which has a beautiful cable detail. And it's knit in 4 parts. And so what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to wind these off. I'm going to wind them all up into little balls, and then I'm going to wind them into quarters, essentially, and tie them to each other, so that it becomes one bigger ball. So I'm not dealing with a ton of, like, 5-gram balls, because these are 20-gram skeins. Yeah, I had started to do that. I started with the day number 1, and then I was like, no, this needs to be an entire day's activity. So I will probably end up doing that at my apartment, maybe with some friends, who knows. But I think this might be a fun Rhinebeck, and I think it'll be a fun cardigan that I'll actually wear. So that is part of it. So that is Canon Hand Dyes.
Very nice.
And then
I'm not tying them anymore. I find that when I tie it, it leaves a bigger hole. So what I'm doing is I'm leaving a tail on this end and then kind of overlapping them and then holding them double and treble. And now I can just go in and clip these off because they have already been knit in. So I'm experimenting with that.
They did bring me in the Catrinkles. Did we show you all what we got at the end of the Catrinkles? We got wine glasses with our name on them.
Well, they're insulated mugs.
They're insulated mugs.
Glasses.
They're wine glasses, let's be real. They're really cute. I like them a lot.
They're very cute. And having your name on it is really a good idea.
Yeah. So I also have IndieUntangled, which was C2C. So it was a bunch of different indie dyers from different areas, and it took me a while to realize that these stickers on the packages were a reference to where we were going to be. So this is a slab of cheese. I think this is Wisconsin. Let's see. Midwest Nice Speckle by Knit Circus, which is, I believe, Wisconsin. So
how cute.
That one, we've got, what else do we have in here? We've got the Arch. I think that's the Arch.
Oh, St. Louis.
I think it's St. Louis.
She really thought of these things.
Yeah, St. Louis, Missouri. This is Maelstrom Fiber Arts.
Very pretty.
So, yeah. There's a whole bunch of really great ones. They're all really lovely. I don't know exactly what it's going to become yet.
They're very bright colors.
They are very bright colors. I would
like to have a whole box of each one of them.
I know. There's one that's a Mardi Gras one that's, like, phenomenal, and I want to be able to get a whole skein of it. But yeah, I think it'll probably become a shawl of some sort. A shawl that is meant for disparate minis.
Okay.
Just because they are themed together, but they are not all colored together.
Right.
So I think that'll work out really well. But I really enjoyed this one. She's Lisa, who runs IndieUntangled, is in one of my group chats, and we have given her some ideas for next year's box, and we'll see if any of those are the ideas, because there are some really good ones, which could be fun. But those are my two big advents, and as we said, Mom got me the Catrinkles, and then I had the 3 socks.
Very nice.
Yeah. I really like the socks, because it gets me to at least knit a pair of socks.
What? Oh, those things?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that makes sense. I'm just toying my mind. As much as I love opening something every day, I have this yarn that there's not a whole lot to do with it. Especially
There's a lot to do with it, but there's not that's in your aesthetic right now. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's this. I guess there's sweaters I could make, and I get it as long as you can hold it double or you do the striping. But yeah, I've got so many projects. I'm sitting here looking at yarn on the table, and there's stuff downstairs, and I'm working all the time. So I don't think I can knit any faster. I still want to paint my picture.
I know.
So I need to, and I feel bad taking the picture out and painting while I still got all that stuff downstairs on the floor. So I need to get rid of some of those bags. And, the bags with the new yarn can stay up here, and the bag with the Vogue yarn can stay up here, because that's not a project. And tomorrow I'll get the minis together for the Vogue name, and that'll just be one of the bags I'll take. Plus I'll bring some empty bags, just in case there's yarn I can't pass by.
She says, yet she's going to come home with something.
I know.
Yeah. But yeah, I think...
Because I haven't really looked at who's going to be in the marketplace. I really want it to be a surprise.
There isn't... I can't download a program this year yet. I guess I've checked like once a week, and it's very frustrating because I would like to be at least able to
Pre-plan.
sort of plan. So the
This is
marketplace
what
isn't going to be open until Friday anyways.
Right.
So we have
That's
Thursday.
usual.
Yeah. But then this year they have Thursday classes. Like all day Thursday, not just
Right.
Thursday evening. So
And I think we're going in an hour early.
I think.
the
I don't know. We'll
marketplace.
find out.
I have to make sure I bring my cane.
Yeah.
Because we'll be doing a lot of walking.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be good.
But yeah, so those are the advents.
Well, the gray.
Yeah.
I can always use neutrals.
Mhm.
Which means so I could use at least 5 skeins of gray, if not 10 skeins of gray. Maybe even 15. And, DK,
Mm-hmm.
fingering, and, different colors. That kind of thing. So I can come home with shades of gray
Mm-hmm.
easily. And that would work with the advents to give that coordinating color to bring it through. So that would be a real, plus to work through some of these advent calendars and get them into a sweater.
Yeah.
So shades of gray.
But
Match
yeah.
my head. Does this match my hair?
But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. I'm going to say it's time to weave in our ends because my voice is giving out. And I'm going to start coughing up a storm. And no one needs to hear that. So let's weave in some ends. And we will talk to you all soon.
All right.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
y'all.